are a lot of issues affecting State Representative Peter McCoy's district, from flooding on James Island to SCE&G and SCANA. I speak exclusively with the State Representative for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Mr. Peter McCoy, it's so good to see you.
Quintin, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for making the trip to downtown Charleston to see me.
Anytime. I got to give you some surprising news.
Tell me all about it. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, you are going to Costa Rica for your 40th birthday.
I am turning 40 next week, wow. And very excited about it, and looking forward to a quick trip with my wife to go fishing, and spend some time in the ocean, go surfing a little bit, and can't wait, looking forward to it.
That is so good to hear. Well, let me get back to some serious news.
Sure.
SCE&G, obviously, as you know, they lost their bid to stop the temporary nuclear-related rate cuts that start on Tuesday. Average bill drops of at least $17 a month throughout the end of the year. You said this recently, quote, "I've been a prosecutor and a criminal defense lawyer for a long time, and I've seen people indicted for a lot less than this. I'm not sure how they look themselves in the mirror every morning." How do you look yourself in the mirror every day now, knowing that SCE&G doesn't have much control as they used to?
Quintin, I got to tell you, when Judge Childs in the federal court ruled to stop the injunction that SCE&G and SCANA had filed to stop the rate reductions, it was a huge win for the ratepayer. It was a big day for South Carolina, because the judge, who I've known for a long time, Judge Childs, is magnificent. She was on the circuit bench, and I had the pleasure of appearing in front of her there. Had the pleasure of working with her in federal court, and she's one of the brightest and one of the best judges we've got in this state. She does a fantastic job. So when her ruling came down and her order came down, we were ecstatic. The frustrating part is this, Quintin. SCANA, SCE&G have spent millions upon millions, tens of millions of dollars, not only to pad the retirement, to hide from South Carolina the reports and what they knew about this failed nuclear project way ahead of time, even though they continued to ask for rate increases. And they spent tens of millions of dollars on lawyers to fight against the average South Carolina resident, ratepayer, and their power bill. So they've spent all this money, and they have never, not once, not one time said, let's do the right thing. Let's make it right for the ratepayer in South Carolina. Let's help them with their power bills. One of the most compelling committee hearings we had in Columbia over the SCANA, SCE&G issues, when we dedicated an entire day to the ratepayer coming forward and telling us their struggles, telling us how these huge power bills are affecting their daily lives and how they eat, how they even have the opportunity to shower and take a hot bath during the week. It's heartbreaking, Quintin, and to see these executives who continue to make tens of millions of dollars also continue to pad their retirement. It's sickening to me. It's sick, and it's wrong, and it's deceitful, and it's corrupt. And Quintin, I tell you, to have Judge Childs rule the way she ruled and to put South Carolina ratepayers first was a huge win and a big day. We were very excited about it.
Let me turn to Santee Cooper.
Yes, sir.
This is the headline from the state newspaper, I believe. SC Senate sues to block Governor McMaster from naming allied chair of the Santee Cooper board. A.B. Rokes, the state newspaper, wrote this quote, "The state senate is suing to block Governor Henry McMaster from unilaterally appointing a longtime ally to lead Santee Cooper's board." Tuesday's lawsuit filed before the South Carolina Supreme Court, and this comes 2 weeks after McMaster tapped former South Carolina Attorney General Charlie County, that is, as the next chairman of the state-owned power company without the Senate's consent. How did we get here in your mind?
Well, we've got a big issue on our hands, and it comes with the co-ops and it comes with Santee Cooper. And, that's a state-owned entity. It's not like SCANA, which is publicly traded, and they are a private entity. Santee Cooper is owned by the state of South Carolina, and they've accrued over $9 billion right now in debt. If things aren't handled properly and things don't go smoothly in terms of how we handle that, how we move forward with Santee, that's on the shoulders of South Carolina taxpayers. So again, that is a huge issue. Now, there is a joint legislative committee that's been formed that the Governor McMaster actually sits on as well. that's meeting and just started meeting in Columbia right now to study Santee, to study the issues there, to study their budget, to see what needs to be done there, because we've heard testimony and we've heard a lot of reviews and talked to a lot of people and know that there's been some mismanagement there as well. That's going to be a tough project, and we're looking forward to tackling that. And we're gonna probably have a very busy fall and early winter going up there to meet on this committee. That being said, the governor has the ability to appoint members of the board for Santee because it's a state-owned utility. But again, Charlie Condon is a fantastic guy. I've known him for a long time. I know his son very well. They're both very good lawyers in Charleston, and they're highly respected folks in Charleston too. But they got to go through the Senate confirmation process. I mean, that's the way that our state is set up in terms of checks and balances. The appointment can happen, but then you got to go through the checks and balances of the Senate, which is the approval, the advice and consent of the Senate.
And let me get you back home to
Yes,
James
sir.
Island. And there's a big issue right now, flooding. WCPD reports that State Senator Sandy Senn, along with other state, local leaders, that is, toured neighborhoods near James Island to assess flooding issues, that is. Public Works and stormwater professionals with South Carolina Department of Transportation, Charleston County, Charleston City, and the town of James Island walked the canal behind Laurel Park. Neighbors who live there say they have explained issues that they may have in their own yards. One issue is with drainage and piping. Some of the pipes are bigger than the ones they flow into and cause water to build up. What are other issues in your mind when we sit here right now?
Quintin, flooding is a huge issue, not just for James Island, but also for the county of Charleston, every municipality in Charleston, and every citizen in Charleston County. Last night was our first big step in helping address the flooding issues in Charleston, where we had an intergovernmental meeting on James Island, and we invited everybody from local level government all the way up to the state Senate, and we had the mayor of Charleston there as well, so we had a lot of people that are coming together to tackle this issue, to work on this issue. Because on James Island, you got to think, you've got town of James Island, you've got county of Charleston,
Right.
you got city of Charleston,
Right.
and then you have unincorporated James Island. So people are frustrated, and rightfully so, as to who do they call? Who do they reach out to if they have a flooding issue? And we have intersections on James Island right now that flood with very little rain, let alone the 1,000-year rain that we had 3 years ago, and then the 2 hurricanes we've had come through the past 2 years. So Quintin, this is a major issue, and we are tackling that. And I've been on site, I've been on scene, I've gone to houses, I've looked at ditches,
Right.
and we have a fantastic guy at the SCDOT who I've been able to call and email, not only during hurricanes but also during these heavy rains. He's on the spot. He answers my emails. He comes right away, and he goes and helps these folks who have issues on James Island. What we're doing to help people fight this issue and know who to call is that we've created a database. Okay, and we're going to start a database on James Island that every single governmental entity in Charleston County will be able to use. We're going to record the name. We're going to record the address. We're going to record the telephone number of these folks and the specific flooding concerns they have. And we're going to log it in, and we're going to be able to see where they are, who's going on, who's helped them, who hasn't helped them, and who needs to jump on this thing to get going. Because there needs to be a collaborative effort between all the municipalities, all the governmental entities to work together. I'm tired of personally seeing people say, oh, this is a county issue, I'm not going to deal with this, or this is a city issue, I'm not going to deal with this. No, it's a South Carolina Charleston issue. We all need to deal with this. We all need to jump on this. And last night was the first meeting that we had, and it was at the new James Island Town Hall, and it was packed out with people coming to talk, and rightfully so. I've also talked to Senator Senn and Representative Stavronakis, and what we want to do as well is we want to not only have this on James Island, but West Ashley has issues, North Charleston has issues, Mount Pleasant has issues. So we want to travel around, and we want to set up meetings for people to come and voice their concerns. Again, being able to log this into a database so we can quickly respond to people and actually talk to the different governmental agencies and all work together on this, because this is an issue that we all need to tackle and we all need to work together on.
Let me turn you to Katy Arrington.
Sure.
Obviously, a lot of people call her the walking miracle.
Sure.
Obviously, she's now able to walk after that tragedy that transpired really in Charleston County a month ago. When you think of Katy Arrington, what plays in your mind?
If I think of Katy Arrington, I think of loyalty, I think of faith, I think of very strong convictions, and I think of family. You know, Katy Arrington, I had the pleasure of serving with her this past session in Columbia. She was a hard fighter for her district, and she'll continue to do so if she's elected to the U.S. Congress. And, you know, I got the phone call about Katy Arrington early morning of her accident, and we were all very shaken up by what happened to her, and her friend, Miss Goff, who also suffered some very, very serious injuries as well. And Katy is a fighter. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, she came out of the hospital. She had multiple surgeries. She spent a lot of time there, and you know, she spent significant time, you know, at MUSC. Who, by the way, just, you know, we're so lucky to have MUSC in our backyard. They do such a fantastic job. But she's a fighter. I mean, she came out. She always speaks her mind. She always says what's on her mind. She's always truthful. She always has her family right there with her. And, you know, she's a very strong person of faith. I mean, you've heard her interviews afterwards, and she talks about how, you know, God was with her during that accident. God's been with her through this recovery, and God's going to continue to be with her as she continues to heal and make progress and get back out on the campaign trail. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Quintin, she came out of the hospital, and she was right back on that campaign trail in multiple casts, in a wheelchair, and she was making appearances up and down the coast in the 1st District of South Carolina. So that's how I describe her. You know, she's a tremendous person of faith and a tremendous fighter.
That is so good to hear.
Yes, sir.
Well, State Representative Peter McCoy, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Quintin, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to see me. I love talking to you. Thanks again. Hope you come soon.
Likewise.
Yes, sir.
Do.
Thank you.